Bethlehem calls itself America's Christmas city, and what makes it special is how much of the history still shapes the way it celebrates today. You can feel it in the old Moravian buildings, the handmade crafts, the lights, everything in the city. We're spending one full day here to see what Christmas looks like in a town that's been celebrating for centuries. Alright, let's jump in. After driving an hour and 15 minutes in, we grabbed public parking and we made our way to a unique coffee shop in the city known as Biddy and Bo's. A local we met told us that this coffee shop has one of the warmest, most welcoming atmospheres in town. It was started in North Carolina and created by the Wright family, who were inspired by their two kids, Biddy and Bo, who have Down syndrome. Their whole mission is to promote inclusion and offer meaningful employment for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. It was just a cool spot to stumble on while traveling with a great mission, and they have great coffee. We got our coffee and now we're setting out to explore the town. From there we set out to explore the historic Main Street, which has been voted one of the best main streets in America. It's very walkable, with the main area being less than a half mile each way, and with lots of different shops, restaurants, and things to explore. Plus, there are history markers on every corner, with many of these buildings dating back to the 1800s. Amy, you're gonna be the musketeer mouse? You look very dangerous. The city of Bethlehem itself is known as Christmas City, USA, and the downtown is definitely the heart of that title. You can see Christmas in all of the different stores, you can see lights and wreaths wrapped around the different lampposts, and one of the best places to experience that is the historic Hotel Bethlehem. The Hotel Bethlehem sits on the site of an original 18th century building, but the current structure you see here was opened in 1922. Back then it was a grand and modern hotel for the growing city, and now it's a symbol of history and luxury, and it's beautiful inside to see. When we were there during the day, we were able to go inside and explore all of the Christmas they had on display, but when we came back later that night, we weren't able to go in since we weren't a hotel guest. This is an incredibly cool historic hotel. I look at that nativity scene right above the door. I talked to a receptionist who said that the hotel had hosted presidents, actors, and even world leaders throughout the years, and that it played a role in preserving the downtown because of tourism during the decline of the Bethlehem steel industry. There are Christmas trees everywhere in this hotel. What a cool spot. I would love to come back here and stay. Maybe next time. Do let me know if you stayed here in the past and how it was. And also, the restaurant looked very popular and they were taking reservations for weeks in advance. So if that's something you want to do, be sure to get a reservation. And then right across from the Hotel Bethlehem is the oldest continuously operated bookstore in the United States. Founded in 1745 by the Moravian Church as a place to sell religious texts, it's been ran continuously for over 300 years, and it's been in different spots throughout the town until it finally arrived in this Main Street location. Now this is a typical bookstore, but it's so cool to go in and to learn all the history and to support it by buying a book yourself. It's also connected to a larger store which sells all sorts of different souvenirs and things related to Moravian culture. They had a lot that you could purchase for Christmas, including nativity sets, Christmas ornaments, the famous star that the city is known for, and of course the candles that they're known for as well. It's definitely a spot you don't want to miss while you're shopping in downtown Bethlehem. It's so cool to be walking around the town and just see signs like this, that the first pharmacy was established here in 1752. And then from here we wanted to explore a little bit more Moravian history before we continued our Christmas exploration with one of the best markets in the United States. This historic area of Bethlehem was actually named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2024. And what that means is that these streets and buildings are recognized as some of the most important cultural places on the entire planet. So you should definitely check out the Moravian Museum, which is inside of one of the buildings from the 1700s. We took a 45-minute guided tour, which was a fascinating way to explore this historic building and learn more about the interesting culture present here. It was honestly a culture I knew nothing about, so being able to get a deep dive like this is something I definitely recommend. And the whole reason this town even exists is because it was settled by the Moravian Church. And their original settlement included workshops, schools, and even a small hospital. This area is part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site because it has some of the best preserved Moravian architecture anywhere in the world, but the actual site is a multinational site with 4 different locations around the world. The museum has a beautiful selection of 25 trees that you can see during this time of the year, all decorated differently. It's just so incredible to be walking through this town with all of the history that is all around you, these amazing old buildings. This is a cool spot. The last thing we wanted to experience here before heading to the market was something known as the Christmas putz. This tradition dates back centuries, and it's essentially a nativity scene with lights and spoken word that tells the biblical story of Christmas. This specific one was built in 1937, and it's set up and taken down by volunteers every year, and it's a tradition in the city. It takes about 20 minutes to experience the show, and you can't take any pictures during it, but afterwards you can come up and you can explore the scene a little bit more. You might even find some surprises in it. It's also attached to the Star and Candle shop, so if you're looking for a traditional souvenir, this is a great place to get one. Just finished the putz, and that's definitely not something that you see anymore. I loved it. I thought the history was so cool, and I'm glad that they're preserving it. It's definitely something that's worth doing. We also got some Moravian sugar cake, which they said that we have to try while we're here, so we're gonna give that a try next. Moravian sugar cake. Cheers. They said it's coffee cake adjacent. A little bit more bready than coffee cake normally is, but it definitely has that kind of caramelized cinnamon and sugar on top.
Bread and sugar. How could you go wrong?
Fun to try. Maybe we'll try it again if we find another place in the city that has it. From here, we were headed back to our car, and we were on the south side of Main Street, so we walked back down Main Street, checked out some more of the Christmas shops, and then walked past Hotel Bethlehem. We'll be back here later tonight to show you what it looks like at nighttime. It says boop his nose for good luck. Boop. We're heading back to our car now, and we're gonna go out to the famous Christmas market, but before we do that, let me tell you how we got here. Turo helped to power this entire adventure by allowing us to rent a car directly from the airport. Turo is the world's biggest car sharing marketplace, and it gives you access to more than 1,600 different makes and models of cars. Everything from budget cars to electric SUVs to those dream cars you've always been wanting to try is available to rent. I needed something comfortable for a weekend getaway, and I didn't want to burn time at the rental counter, so I typed in the airport name into the search bar, filtered for the car I wanted, and booked it right there. Then when I landed, I had instructions in the app that walked me through the airport, told me which shuttle to get on and where the car was parked so that I could get going right away. And then once we made it to our car, we took our pictures, checked in through the app, and they remotely unlocked it, and we were on our way.
I feel like a local. Just got off the airplane, got in my car, and let's go.
Thanks to Turo for encouraging us to make this trip, and if you're traveling this holiday season, check them out. They're available at over 140 airports in the US and Canada.
Scan the QR code here or click the link in the description to learn more.
All right, let's go explore more Bethlehem. Back in Bethlehem, we did the 10-minute drive over to the steel stacks. We have made it to the market, voted one of the best in the entire United States, and it is so busy that I am not sure how it's gonna go, but I'm excited to see it. We figured it'd be busy because it was a Saturday right at the start of December, but it took over 20 minutes to find a place to park, and then another 10 to 15 just to walk in. Luckily, I had already bought my tickets online in advance, so we didn't have to wait in the ticket line and were able to go right into the market. This market opened in 1993, and it was actually one of the first large-scale holiday markets in the country, inspired by the European Christmas markets. One of the most popular booths is the one that has the ornaments and souvenirs from Kate Wolfart, which I'm probably mispronouncing, but I tried many times to say that correctly. This area was mobbed the entire time we were here, and you could see why. It had a lot of really cool things that you could purchase. They had a large collection of the smoking dolls, which I picked up at the Cambria market and which burn incense. It's one of my favorite things that I bring out each Christmas, and you can see that video of our visit to Cambria in the description. What I thought was the most interesting about this market is how it was right next to the old steel stacks. And its location next to the Bethlehem steel site brings kind of a modern tie to the city's industrial past. And this area with the Christmas tree and the lights and the stacks behind it was one of the most popular for photos. The event also has some interesting demonstrations, such as glass blowing and ice carving. They had already carved multiple ice blocks that day, but when we stopped by, he was carving a Christmas tree. There's also quite a few light installations that you could take pictures at, including these Christmas gifts that you can walk through. They look better at nighttime though, I'll show you that later in the video. This place is packed to the brim with people, but it is cool with those stacks back there. We're looking for something to eat though. There are lots of food trucks outside, but we were looking for the more traditional German food, so we went inside into the food hall and found a lot of people with the same idea. Luckily, we found a line with some traditional food that wasn't too long, and about 15 minutes later, we were sitting down at their table to eat. For lunch, I went with the bratwurst and Amy went with the Bavarian hamburger.
Absolute chaos, but we made it. Cheers. Pretty good bratwurst. Amy got the Bavarian burger, which has a little bit of everything on it.
It does. Look at that. That's good. I like all the flavors.
Sauerkraut and onions and cheese and mustard. What more could you want?
Yeah.
All right, so this is the potato pancakes, and they said that you can eat it with applesauce or sour cream. Those are two very different flavors.
I was going to say ketchup, so I was very surprised with sour cream and applesauce.
Overall, I would say the food was not bad. It took a long time to get and it was a little bit pricey, but not bad. And in the second half of the food tent, there was another market, this one focusing a little bit more on arts.
This is a charcuterie board. Have you ever seen one that big before?
I think I need it.
We should throw it in the suitcase.
Yeah, I'll carry it.
It's only $415.
Making our way back outside, we went into the last of the markets that we hadn't visited yet. I was surprised by the amount of unique stalls they had here. We've been to a lot of Christmas markets and they often end up looking pretty much the same. But here I saw a lot of things that I hadn't seen at previous Christmas markets, and I saw more Christmas stuff, which surprisingly isn't always what you see at these markets.
I went in and got snow globes for the children, and Amy went and got Glühwein. Priorities.
Sounded nice to me right now.
All right, we're leaving the chaos at the market. Overall, though, I would say that was a lot of fun. It's very, very busy, but there's lots of cool stuff to see. Lots of Christmas places to shop at. Good food, good wine. Overall, a very fun experience.
I thought it was so fun. So much Christmas spirit and lots of things to look at.
And lots of things to purchase.
Lots of things to buy.
Leaving the market, we made the 5-minute drive back into downtown Bethlehem. I wanted to walk around and to see what the town was like at night, so we got there a little early and we headed to the market they had set up behind the Sun Inn. Even Santa was out for the kids to interact with.
I love this town. There's a holiday market happening and they give out free hot cocoa and cookies. How do you beat that?
The small market we stumbled on was only about 10 different shops, but it was still a lot of fun and there was food as well. Next to the market was the Sun Inn, which was built in 1758 and was a key lodging house for travelers coming to the Moravian settlement.
John Adams said this is the best inn he ever saw.
The rope bed is what they used from the 16th to the 19th century here. Some think that this might have been why they say sleep tight, because you had to keep the ropes tight. I was told that many famous figures stayed here, including George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, Benjamin Franklin, and even Lafayette. And since its heyday, the building has gone through multiple restorations to preserve the original stonework and interior layout.
One of the cool things about the city is you see the star up there? There's a star on the hill overlooking the city.
The first illuminated star was placed on South Mountain in 1937 and it was only lit at Christmas, but now it's lit every day.
So something they do in Bethlehem is that they have a live advent calendar where something comes out of this door every single night all the way up until Christmas. It's the only place in the United States that does it. So we're here waiting and we're going to see what comes out tonight.
They started this event in 2008 and it's a loved tradition now, and there's probably 100 people who gathered to see it while we were there. They've had everything come out of this door, from people giving out chocolates to Santa on a fire truck to even singers.
Wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas. Good tidings we bring to you and your King. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. Wonderful!
And this door right here is the star of the show.
After singing a Christmas carol, they invited a child up from the audience to knock on the door and show us what today's Advent calendar was going to be.
Welcome to the live Advent event for this evening, and welcome the Bach Choir of Bethlehem.
Woo!
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing all of praise, and the mountains in reply.
What an interesting experience, a live Advent calendar. I have never seen one of those because that is the only one that exists in the United States.
Our time in the city is coming to a close, but we're going to walk around the downtown a little bit before we head out. It almost feels like you're walking in a Hallmark movie as you're going down Main Street at night, with all of the lights on the different trees, the starlights, and of course the horse-drawn carriages. If you want to do the horse-drawn carriages, also get that in advance. I looked to get it this morning and it was already sold out, so probably a couple days in advance. Our goal was just to walk down to Hotel Bethlehem and stop at a few of the shops along the way. Unfortunately, when we got there, we weren't allowed in because it was too busy. I would say the biggest bummer is I thought there'd be a lot more lights on this hotel. I guess it's all inside, not really outside. Also, this was a Saturday and there's not a lot of restaurants in the downtown area and a lot of people were struggling to find places to eat. So if you're going here, be sure to get a reservation in advance or just get something outside of the town. Also, if you're there on a Saturday, the Christmas market doesn't close till 8 p.m. We actually got hand stamps so that we could come back later as we wanted to be able to see what the market looked like with the lights. It was a lot less busy at nighttime and it was actually pretty beautiful to see with the way that they had decorated everything. Amy and I enjoyed going back and walking around for 30 or so minutes just to take it all in and see what it looked like at nighttime. If you're looking for a unique picture, this is probably when you're going to want to go as well. It's definitely more of a minimalist vibe in the city at nighttime, but it's still a beautiful place, and that was a really fun Christmas adventure. If you want to see more of our Christmas adventures, click up here. If you want to go to New York with us, click over here, and we'll see you on the next one.